My wife always wears a red gown once it's midnight. Episode 1. The first time I saw my wife wearing a red gown at midnight, I thought nothing of it. I believed I knew every detail about the woman I married. Her likes, her habits, her flaws. But there was one thing I didn't know about her. Her nights. At midnight, something about her changed. It didn't happen just once. Night after night, she would sleep in her normal nightgown. But exactly at midnight, I would catch a glimpse of her standing somewhere in the room, always in that same red gown. By morning, she was back to normal clothes, as if nothing happened. The first night, I ignored it. The second night, I called it coincidence. But the third night, I knew something was wrong. Terribly wrong. Because sometimes, she wasn't even in bed at all. One morning, I gathered the courage to ask her, "Honey, sometimes I see you in a red gown at night, but by dawn, you're wearing something else. Why do you change clothes?" She froze. Just for a second. Then she forced a soft laugh. "Me? Red gown? Honey, you worry too much. I don't even like red." She hugged me tightly, smiling, but her heartbeat wasn't calm. That was the moment I knew she was hiding something. That night, I promised myself I would stay awake. I would catch her, see it with my own eyes. But no matter how hard I fought sleep, it always won. Every morning, she tapped me gently and whispered, "Honey, it's 6 a.m." And every morning, I realized I couldn't remember when I fell asleep. Something or someone didn't want me awake at midnight. I became restless, so I made a new plan. If I could take away that red gown before midnight, maybe I would finally know the truth. That evening, I took her to her favorite movie house. She was laughing, enjoying the film, completely distracted. "Honey, want ice cream?" I asked casually. Her face brightened. "You know I can't say no." I smiled, pretending to head out for ice cream. But instead, I drove home, straight to the wardrobe. I tore through clothes, searching, and then I saw it. Tucked deep at the bottom, a flash of red. My hands trembled as I reached for it. Then I heard it, a voice behind me. Calm, low, empty. "What are you searching for?" I froze. Slowly, I turned. It was my wife, standing very still. No smile, no warmth, just eyes that didn't look like her own. That was the night I realized my wife's midnight wasn't human. My hands were still gripping that red gown when I looked up and saw her. Her face, usually soft and warm, felt different tonight. Her long, black, straight hair rested on her shoulders, but her eyes were sharper, colder, almost as if they could read everything running through my mind. "What are you searching for?" she asked again, voice calm but heavy. Each step she took toward me made my heartbeat quicken. Before I could answer, a knock echoed through the house. Our neighbor called her name. She turned, quickly, suspiciously, and stepped out of the room. The moment she was gone, I shoved the red gown under the bed and whispered to myself, "Tonight, I must see the truth with my own eyes." When she returned, I pretended to smile. "Honey, I thought I misplaced my ATM card," I lied. "I came home to check." She stared at me too long, like she was trying to peel the truth off my face. Then she smiled softly, but it wasn't the kind of smile that brought peace. It was the kind that hides a warning. "Well, It's fine. I also left the movie house because I wasn't comfortable anymore. But what about that ice cream you promised? I forced a laugh, and we spent the rest of the evening talking, joking, pretending to be normal. But deep inside me, everything felt wrong. Every smile she gave looked like a mask. Every laugh felt rehearsed. I was waiting for midnight. At 10 p.m., someone knocked again. My wife stood up too fast. "Oh, that must be my friends," she said. "Friends? Since when?" I asked. "Sorry, darling, their car broke down. They asked to sleep here tonight." She opened the door, and my body went cold. 2 women walked in. 2 women who almost exactly looked like her. Same skin tone, same height, same long, straight black hair. Same eyes. It was like seeing 3 versions of my wife in one room. I welcomed them in with a shaky smile and offered them the bedroom, while I stayed in the sitting room. But I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing. Who were they? Why did they look like her? And why did they arrive on the same night I hid the red gown? Exactly at 11:58 p.m., the bedroom door creaked open. My wife stepped out first. Expression calm, face unreadable. Behind her, the 2 friends followed. All 3 of them wore identical red gowns. My heart slammed against my ribs. They walked toward me slowly, silently, staring like they could see through my soul. Then one of them spoke. Her voice was low, chilling. "Some things are never meant to be touched, or it won't end well." My mouth went dry. The second friend leaned forward. Where did you keep it?" she whispered. My wife's eyes locked onto mine. Not angry, not afraid, just waiting. The air felt heavy, too heavy to breathe. And in that moment, I understood. They had searched for the gown. They didn't find it. And now they had come to me. Moral lessons. Secrets grow stronger in silence. What you ignore today may confront you tomorrow. Trust is fragile. Once doubt enters a relationship, everything becomes suspicious. Curiosity can be a blessing or a danger. Not every truth is harmless. Always listen to your instincts. The mind senses what the eyes cannot see. Do you think the wife is hiding something supernatural or something human? If you were the husband, would you confront her or run? Why do you think the friends look exactly like her? What do you suspect the red gown represents?
My wife always wears a red gown at midnight. Episode 2. She had always denied owning a red gown, yet there she stood, wearing it again. And not just her, 2 identical women beside her, their eyes burning like fire in the dim light of our home. "Where is the red gown?" one of them demanded. Her voice was sharp, slicing through the silence like a blade. I swallowed hard. 3 women standing in my own house, interrogating me. It felt like I was the outsider here. "There's no red gown in this house," I said, trying to sound confident. But inside, my heart was pounding like a drum. My wife stepped forward. Her expression was colder than I had ever seen. "You took it," she said. "If you knew what it meant, you wouldn't have dared." A chill ran down my spine. What meaning could a simple gown hold? Then her 2 friends spoke together, perfectly in sync. "If you don't bring it out before morning, prepare yourself." They turned toward the bedroom, but before entering, my wife looked back at me. Her eyes empty, hard, soulless, like she no longer recognized me. Or worse, like she was no longer the woman I married. When they disappeared into the bedroom, my legs felt weak. I collapsed onto the couch, hands trembling uncontrollably. This was my home, my own home. So why did it suddenly feel like I was the intruding? I wanted to shout, to demand answers, to send all of them away. But nothing came out. Fear held my voice hostage. And then the cruelest thought came. Maybe I should send her away. Maybe peace of mind is worth more than marriage. But she was carrying my child. How do I send her out now? And what if giving them the gown was worse? I buried my face in my hands and whispered, God, what have I gotten myself into? I stepped outside quietly, phone in hand. The cold night breeze touched my skin, but it still wasn't as chilling as the fear within me. I dialed the number of an old friend, an elder in his 60s, a man who had seen life, pain, and things people rarely speak of. He didn't answer the first time, or the second. Finally, his tired voice came through. It's late. What's the matter, my son? Sir, forgive me, I whispered. It's about my wife. What happened? So I told him everything. The red gown, the midnight transformations, the friends who appeared from nowhere, their warning. As I spoke, the elder sighed deeply. You must be very careful, he said. I once faced something similar with my late wife. My heart tightened. There is only one way to end this and have peace. But before I tell you, are you alone? Is anyone listening? The way he asked, it felt like he was about to reveal something terrible. Slowly, I turned around to check. And then, I froze. My wife stood by the window. Beside her were the two identical friends, all three staring straight at me, silent, unblinking, expressionless, as though they had listened to every word I said. Hello, hello, are you there? The elder called through the phone, but I couldn't respond. My lips parted, but no sound escaped. I was speechless. As I stood frozen at the window, I watched the impossible unfold. The red gown I had hidden under the bed now draped over her shoulders. She and the two women began to laugh, a slow, hollow sound that echoed through the room and crawled under my skin. For a moment, I forgot I was even on the call. Had I listened to the elder? Had I imagined everything? The laughter kept coming, each note a blade, and I felt smaller and more alone than ever. When the message from the elder blinked on my screen, "Meet me tomorrow morning," it felt like a lifeline thrown into the dark. That night I didn't sleep. From the sitting room, whispers leaked from the bedroom, soft as silk, cruel as frost. The hours moved like water through my fingers. Just before dawn, the two friends left in normal clothes without a word. The house felt hollow. When daylight finally came, she returned, smiling, warm, ordinary. She called me pet names, played as if nothing had happened. But I had seen too much. I erupted. What is that red gown about? Tell me the truth. She looked at me, pity in her eyes. Honey, please, don't talk about that. Just leave it. Her calmness was worse than anger. I left driven by panic and a desperate need for answers. At the elder's house, I expected answers, comfort, direction. Instead, I froze. The two women were there, sitting politely as if they belonged. I thought you could help me, I blurted, voice thin with betrayal. They rose, said brief goodbyes, and as they passed me, one whispered, chilling and close, "Do the right thing." The elder insisted they were former students dropping by. His words felt sincere, but his next instruction was stranger still. If you truly want peace, he said, leaning in, buy her more red gowns. At midnight, pretend to sleep and watch. It sounded insane, but there was a weight in his voice, an old, practiced sorrow. I obeyed. I bought the gowns. I handed them to her like a dutiful husband. She smiled, bright, unsuspecting, delighted. Inside, I felt hollow. That night I pretended to sleep. My heart hammered as midnight approached. When the clock struck 12, she slipped into a red gown and hurried out, as though fleeing a chase. I called the elder. He answered as if waiting. "Follow her quietly. See for yourself," he whispered. I opened the door and crept silently toward the sound, a faint chorus of whispers coming from the kitchen. Each step sounded enormous. I pushed the kitchen door open and froze. What I saw made my breath catch and my whole world tilt. I couldn't speak. The scene before me was not something my mind had prepared for. Moral lessons. Sometimes the search for truth forces you deeper into danger. Desperation can make ordinary choices feel impossible. Counsel is valuable, but follow it with caution. Not every helpful-seeming solution is free of cost. Not all truths are ready to be faced. Some come with consequences. Silence in a home can be more dangerous than shouting. When fear enters marriage, love becomes blind and vulnerable. Always trust your instincts. Your spirit notices danger before your eyes. Why do you think the elder told him to buy more red gowns? Do you trust the elder's advice? Why or why not? If you were the husband, would you follow her or confront her openly? What do you imagine the husband saw in the kitchen? What do you think the elder was going to reveal? Do you believe the wife and her friends are human or something else? Should the husband give them the gown or keep it hidden? Why do you think they all appeared behind the window at that moment? If this episode gripped you, like, subscribe, and share. Your support keeps the story alive. Drop your theory in the comments. The best prediction might be featured in the next episode.
My wife always wears a red gown once it's midnight. Episode 3. I never expected the truth to hit me this hard. I opened the kitchen door, and there she was, my wife, kneeling on the cold tiles. The dim red gown I once hid under the bed now clung to her body like it belonged to another world. 2 faint candles flickered on the counter, stretching strange shadows across her face. Her lips moved slowly, whispering words that didn't belong to any prayer I knew. And she didn't turn. She didn't even acknowledge me, as if whatever she was doing was more important than the man she married. A cold shiver wrapped around me. This was the woman I shared a home with, a woman carrying my child, yet she felt distant, unknown, almost transformed. My breath got trapped in my throat. Should I call her name? Should I run? Or should I pretend I never witnessed this? Fear pinned me to the floor. I shut the kitchen door quietly and staggered backward until my back hit the wall. My hands were trembling, refusing to stay still. I paced the sitting room, mind spinning. No, I couldn't stay in this house tonight, not with whatever I just saw. I rushed into the bedroom, fumbling with my clothes like a man chased by his own shadow. But before I could escape, the bedroom door creaked open. She stepped inside slowly, her eyes locked onto mine, calm but unsettling. "Where are you going at this hour?" Her voice was low, almost too controlled. I just need to check something outside," I stuttered. She shook her head, tears suddenly filling her eyes, tears that shattered all the anger inside me. "You're not going anywhere," she whispered. Then her voice broke. "Please, don't leave. I'm carrying our child. And I know you've been scared these past days." She sat beside me, her entire body trembling. "I didn't know how to tell you, but since you've seen me tonight, I will explain." I swallowed hard, forcing my heartbeat to slow. "Go ahead," I said softly. "Talk to me." She looked up at me, eyes wet, voice cracking, and finally,
She began to speak. The room fell dead silent. Nothing existed except her shaky breathing and my fear of whatever she was about to reveal. She wiped her tears, gathered courage, and whispered, "I'll tell you what my midnight truly means." And just like that, a door to a truth I was never ready for was about to open. For nights, fear chased me in my own home. For days, I wondered if the woman I married was still the woman I knew. But at last, finally, she was ready to speak. Her eyes were filled with something deeper than sadness, a mixture of guilt, fear, and a determination born from years of silence. She leaned close, her voice trembling. It all started after I was born. My mother introduced me to something called Red Nite. And as she spoke, I felt a coldness wrap around my heart. This wasn't just a gown. This was a bond tied to her bloodline. Her tears spilled freely as she continued. At midnight, we wear the gown because if we don't, something comes, something none of us ever returns from. My chills crawled down my spine. This was bigger, darker than I imagined. I swallowed hard. "What happened to your mother?" Her fingers tightened around mine as if her life depended on it. "She broke the rules and she was taken. After that, they handed me her apron. They said I must take her place." Her voice cracked. Her pain was real. Her fears were real. And suddenly, everything made sense. I took a deep breath. "The elder told me to buy you more gowns. Does that mean anything?" She nodded slowly. "It means you've accepted my bond, even without knowing it." My heart dropped. What bond? What world had I unknowingly stepped into? "And your friends? Why did they warn me?" "They are part of the tradition," she whispered. "Every August 1st, we gather. No man is allowed to interfere." Her voice softened into fear. "I just want peace. I'm tired. I don't want to end up like my mother." In that moment, I didn't see a supernatural mystery. I saw a woman drowning, begging for help. So I pulled her into my arms and whispered, "We'll face this together. I'm not letting you go." Desperate for solutions, I reached out to a childhood friend, a man of deep faith and courage. That night, we told him everything. My wife let out her truth, her childhood, her fear, her bondage. He listened without judgment. Then he gave us instructions. Heavy instructions, but filled with hope. Together, trembling yet determined, we followed every step. That night, we confronted her past. We cut the ties. We let go of every object that bound her. We ended the connection she feared her whole life. It wasn't easy. Some nights she cried. Some nights she trembled. Some nights the shadows felt too close. But we fought together, and little by little, light returned. Months passed. Peace grew where fear once lived. Then, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Our miracle, our new beginning. No more red gown, no midnight whispers, no shadows creeping between us. Just us, love, peace, and a story we survived together. Sometimes the only way to win is to stop running. Sometimes the battle requires two hearts standing side by side. And this one, we won together. Moral lessons. Not everything strange is evil. Sometimes pain hides behind the things we don't understand.
Communication in marriage can save a man from fear and a woman from suffering. Truth may be frightening, but silence is far more dangerous. Love requires understanding, not judgment. You cannot heal what you're unaware of. Communication saves relationships. Some generational battles can only be broken with courage and support. True love stands beside you even when the world turns against you. If you caught your partner doing something mysterious at midnight, would you stay and ask, or would you run? What do you think the wife is about to reveal? Do you believe the elder knows more than he is saying? Do you think the wife was a victim of tradition or something spiritual? Would you stay and help your partner through something this scary? What would you have done if you were the husband? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying this series, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you don't miss next story. Your support keeps this story alive.